I bet a lot of your friends can sing while playing the guitar, but try as they might, it's unlikely that they'll ever be as popular as this red-headed fellow. So what is it about the guy that makes millions love and hate Ed Sheeran all at once? How come he slept on Jamie Foxx's couch for 6 weeks? And what codes did Sheeran hide in his last album? Hi, my name's Peter, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to OSSA. So what's so special about this guy in particular? Is he a genius? Not really. Talented? Well, sure, but there must be something more to it than that. The OSSA team have found the 3 biggest events in Ed Sheeran's life, turning points and big breaks that helped the young lad on his path to stardom. The first one happened during his school years, though it didn't come without a struggle. Ed had a birthmark on his face, so his parents took him in for surgery. In the end, it went really badly, giving Ed a crossed eye and leaving him with a stutter. Kids can be really cruel, and this turn of events led to constant bullying for Ed while he was in primary school. Plus, Ed was ginger and wore huge glasses, so he was different from the rest in many ways and would have had a hard time, no matter what. I hated primary school with a passion. I cried every day. I'm ginger, so I was instantly ripped into from the day I started school, the singer sadly recalled. However, about that time, something really great happened in Sheeran's life which brought tremendous changes and allowed him to forget about all the bullying that he had to endure. As an 11-year-old, Ed attended a concert held by his musical idol, Irish singer Damien Rice. What's more, Sheeran managed to meet Damien Rice backstage. As the story goes, the two of them managed to have a quick chat and Rice told Sheeran to write his own music. So the first thing the very next morning 11-year-old Ed did was just that. And this was his very first step on the road to stardom. Still, if you think that things were smooth and easy for the guy ever since that day, you'd be wrong. Actually, Ed might as well have been tone deaf, as his singing was essentially out of tune in the beginning. How do I know? Well, you see, Sheeran has one cousin, and that cousin's name is Murray Cummings. They were friends since, forever, and Murray always filmed videos of Ed's early performances and put them on YouTube. Sheeran actually once made sort of a joke about it. If he becomes a superstar one day, his friends should film a whole documentary about it. And you know what? He did! It's called Songwriter, and if you watch it, you'll find out what Ed sang like back then when he was just a kid. Sheeran got so into his music and his craft that at the age of 16, he dropped out of school and moved to London. That very same year, Ed experienced one more very important life-changing moment. And this story will be important again when we get to the year 2015 in Sheeran's life story, so we'll put a pin in it for now. Thinking he could find gigs in the big city, Sheeran pulled a complete Dick Whittington, leaving home with his guitar and a backpack full of clothes, all set for his musical career to immediately take off, which, yeah, it almost did. But first, Ed had to face the fact that his passion for rapping along with his acoustic guitar wasn't exactly something that the labels were looking for back then. And therein lies one of the reasons why fans love him so much, the key to the appeal of Ed Sheeran, his authenticity. He always stays true to himself, and that's what helped him to move forward. Day after day, Sheeran continued performing his songs in the same clubs, kept selling his CDs, which he always had in his backpack. Ed persisted and did everything to prove to his family that his musical passion was something worth dropping his studies for. Some days it was very tough. Ed basically spent the next 2.5 years sleeping on the London Underground or couch surfing at his mates'. I'd go out and play a gig, wait until 5 a.m. when the Underground opened, sleep on the Circle line until 12, go to a session, and then repeat. It wasn't that bad, recalls the ever-optimistic Sheeran. Still, you or I would agree that's quite a harsh lifestyle. In 1 year alone, Sheeran managed to perform over 300 concerts, and yet still it wasn't enough for Sheeran to earn his stardom. So he decided to take bigger and bigger risks. Ed took $2,000 out of his bank account, his EPs, and then flew straight to the heart of Hollywood. And that was the moment that the magic happened, lightning struck, and the blessings of heaven finally rained down on his head. No. Sheeran just continued what he did in London. He worked hard, he went to every possible party, he performed over and over again, sometimes playing a whole concert just for the fee of a couch for the night and a nice hot cup of tea. And then, one evening, Ed experienced another life-changing event. During a routine radio show, the host enjoyed Ed so much that he invited the young singer to come live on his couch for a spell. And the name of that host was Jamie Foxx. And as you might remember, Foxx is a guy who really knows his musical stuff. More than just a keen admirer of the art, Fox is famous for portraying the jazz legend Ray Charles in the critically lauded film Ray, a performance so dedicated that Fox received an Academy Award. So Fox agreed to feed Sheeran for 6 weeks while the young artist continued to hold concerts and negotiate partnerships. When Sheeran came back to Britain, he released 2 more EPs, and it was the second one, titled No. 5 Collaborations Project, that got to the 2nd place on the iTunes chart without any special promotion whatsoever. Soon after, at a free concert where Ed hoped that about 200 people would attend, 1,000 more came. So as there was no space left inside, Sheeran played another concert outside the venue right after finishing the first one. Things started to snowball from there, but the pace wasn't satisfying enough for the young perfectionist. It was around that time, when Sheeran was performing warm-up shows for Taylor Swift during her Red Tour, that the lad did some quick maths, analysed the ticket sales, and came to his label with a startling proposal. Ed claimed that he was ready to hold a sold-out concert at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Well, the label execs laughed at the idea, telling Sheeran that he wasn't a big enough draw and was far from ready for a concert on that scale. But Sheeran wouldn't be Ed Sheeran if he didn't give them a hell of a lot of data to back up his claim that this really was the perfect opportunity. In the end, the 20,000-seat venue sold out for all 3 days that Sheeran was slated to play there. But not everything was quite so perfect in Ed Sheeran's life. In fact, you could hardly call him lucky. For instance, on that very same Taylor Swift tour that Sheeran so happily joined, the poor guy face-planted on the stage on his very first night. And for Sheeran's 25th birthday, he went to Iceland to celebrate by seeing the Northern Lights. While stumbling around, Ed's foot broke through the frozen crust of the earth into a boiling geothermic mountain geyser. Hot water poured straight into Ed's boots, seriously scalding his foot, and he had to be airlifted to a local hospital. On another occasion, while Ed was on tour, he was mimicking playing the drums with 2 beer bottles, in a trailer park naturally enough, when, well, what do you expect happened? Yeah, almost inevitably, Sheeran smashed the 2 glasses and earned himself a gash in his right hand, just millimeters away from doing himself permanent nerve damage and ending his career right then and there. The young rocker had to get 6 stitches as a result. And now let's get to that third life-changing event in Ed Sheeran's career. To do so, we have to return to Sheeran's school years for a moment. Do you remember the time when Ed dropped out from school? Well, that was when he first met the girl who would make a married man of him. But their relationship didn't work out at all during his teenage years. Any hope of romance was cruelly cut short as his sweetheart, Cherry Seaborn, transferred to America to get a degree in molecular biology. And so it seemed like their lives were set on very different paths. There isn't much we know about Cherry in those days, but fans of Sheeran probably heard what was going on in his personal life. For about a year, Sheeran dated Athena Andrelos. The singer later confirmed that Athena was the inspiration for his song Thinking Out Loud. In fact, most of Sheeran's songs were inspired by his relationships. It's strongly rumoured, and Ed himself hasn't helped matters much by saying so in interviews, that the Savage song Don't was directed at songstress Ellie Goulding for cheating on Ed with friend and One Direction member Niall Horan. Rumours that, it must be said, Goulding has regularly and forcefully denied. However, it was Ed's true love, Cherry Seaborn, that Sheeran managed to write a brand new love song for, that's probably destined to be played at weddings until the end of time. The singer revealed that the line from the song that goes, "Barefoot on the grass, listening to our favourite song," was about when Ed and Cherry were in Ibiza, listening to Future's March Madness. They were literally not wearing any shoes and going mental on the lawn, which was quite a nice time, Ed shared with Billboard. Already guessed the song? It's none other than perfect. Listen to the lyrics carefully next time and you'll be able to hear the love story between the two unfold. Sheeran wasn't lucky enough to see Cherry's first reaction to the song because back then, she lived in New York while he was still in the UK. So Sheeran decided to email it to her, and, according to Ed, Cherry really appreciated it. The couple's real reunion probably happened in 2015 when the couple was seen together at a Mets game. Later, the pair was also spotted in Vegas partying with Calvin Harris, and from then on, rumours went wild. A few months later, Sheeran was in Rhode Island to attend his close friend Taylor Swift's famous 4th of July party, and Seaborn was also in town. Sheeran asked Swift whether he could invite a friend to the party, with the weekend marking the couple's unofficial anniversary. 1 year on from that day, Swift posted a picture of her 4th of July party announcing that it had been Sheeran and Seaborn's 1-year anniversary. You probably remember that suspicious turn of events when Sheeran decided to take a year off of social media and touring in 2016 to focus more on his personal life. Well, that was all about the future Mrs. Sheeran. Ed later revealed that he and Cherry decided to quit their jobs and spend a year focused on forming a closer bond. They simply went traveling, visiting Japan, New Zealand, and Ghana, spending most of the year together. I bet that would be living the dream for many of us. The singer commented on his love life after that special year in a rather uniquely Ed Sheeran way, saying, "I'm really secure now. We live together, and we have cats. And I think when you have cats, that's kind of it." And that is kind of it for Ed Sheeran, as this year, after months of speculation, the singer has officially confirmed that he is off the market. Once Sheeran's personal life stabilised, he put new effort into his music, and last month fans welcomed his fourth studio album, simply titled Number 6 Collaborations Project. According to Rolling Stone, this album was guided by the logic of an all-star event engineered for maximum commercial impact. The record includes collaborations with an extremely impressive roster of all-time superstars, friends of Ed, and even people he admired when he was a young lad rapping along to the Marshall Mathers LP to overcome his stutter. Some of the musical guests include Justin Bieber, Cardi B, Eminem, 50 Cent, Bruno Mars, and many others. So what do you think of Sheeran's latest musical offering? Are you satisfied with it? Share with us in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our awesome channel. Thanks for watching. I was Peter, you were you, and I'll see you next time.